So, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week we saw a few teams go on some terrific runs of play, and the standings are starting to take shape, so of course we have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, it turns out about 49% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from TryHoops, and he says that everyone is overreacting about the Celtics, and basically, once Jayson Tatum breaks out of his shooting slump, they'll be fine. The Celtics are definitely one of the most notable teams who are struggling a bit to start the season, as they currently sit with a record of 4 wins and 6 losses. The team hasn't quite figured out how to play together after making a few notable additions in the offseason. Their best player, Tatum, is definitely in a slump to begin the year, and the frustration within the locker room has already boiled over into the media. Sure, Jayson Tatum is definitely better than what he's shown to start the year, and once he settles in and returns to normal, the team should definitely improve, but that's absolutely not the only issue with this team, and it's also not something that just comes down to him missing shots. Tatum embraces difficult shots way too much on the offensive end at times, and it feels like he's almost seeking it out sometimes too. Yes, he is good at making those tough shots look easy on occasion, but both his teammates and Celtics fans alike are starting to get really frustrated with how often he shoots these tough contested shots instead of finding the open teammate. On top of this, I've been very outspoken since the offseason about why I wasn't convinced that additions like Josh Richardson, Dennis Schroeder, and Al Horford were actually all that great despite seeming good on paper, and they aren't exactly helping take much pressure off of Tatum and Jaylen Brown to start the season either. The overall makeup of the Celtics is a bit of a mess right now. They lack legitimate playmakers alongside Tatum and Brown, making them do a lot of the heavy lifting offensively, and that's not something that will just change once Tatum breaks out of his slump, as the original take here states. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Bossman, and he says that the Warriors have all of the tools to be a 60-plus win team again this season after 2 years in a row without playoffs. Whether you love them or you hate them, the NBA is undoubtedly a more entertaining product when this Warriors team are firing on all cylinders and playing at their best. Steph Curry poses a threat from literally anywhere inside the half-court line, the younger players around him are starting to emerge as legitimate role players, and the team is off to the best start in the league right now, winning 7 of their first 8 games. Good for first place in the Western Conference standings. On top of all of this, the team is still awaiting the return of Klay Thompson, and if they get a player of his quality back at anything close to what he was prior to his injuries, they're going to be even better top to bottom. As the original take states, the team actually has the #1 defense in the league right now, while also being ranked in the top 10 offensively, and when Klay comes back, he also can help on both ends of the floor even more. All of this, obviously, sounds fantastic, but the only thing that makes me hesitant to fully agree with this is the fact that their schedule has been pretty easy to start the season. The best teams they've faced so far are the Clippers and the Lakers, both of which are off to rough starts to the year and are underperforming based on preseason expectations big time. 60 wins is a lot for an NBA season, so before we can crown them fully, we will need to see how they match up with more of the top teams from across the league, but at the same time, I don't doubt their ability to continue their dominant run either, because they do have the tools. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Jordanzies, and he says that the 76ers will be the 1 seed again this year even without Ben Simmons, because Joel Embiid can put the team on his back. The funny thing about this take is that he's on the right track, but he is wrong about one big thing. The Sixers are currently in first place in the Eastern Conference with a record of 8 wins and 2 losses, which isn't something anybody could have predicted before the year started. With all of the drama surrounding the Ben Simmons situation, most expected them to fall off a good bit, but instead, that situation has seemingly united the locker room and brought the team closer together as a unit without Ben. The chemistry is on point, guys are stepping up in Ben's absence, and the cohesiveness with which they play is truly something to behold. What the original poster of this take got wrong, though, is the fact that Joel Embiid really hasn't been carrying them at all. In fact, he's been quite the contrary. Defensively, yes, Joel Embiid has been playing better than he's played in a long time on that end, which is saying something, as he has deservedly been named to several all-defense teams already in his career. But offensively, Embiid has been pretty up and down so far. The 76ers currently have the #1 ranked team offense in the NBA, not because of Embiid dominating on that end, but because the entire rest of the team is stepping up and giving him solid support that he needs. Seth Curry is scoring the ball better than he ever has in his career right now, Furkan Korkmaz is emerging as a genuine sharpshooter, Tyrese Maxey's finishing around the basket currently ranks amongst the best in the league amongst drivers to the basket, Georges Niang is shooting the ball lights out from 3, and Andre Drummond is actually giving the team very strong backup center minutes, which isn't something the Sixers have had in quite a while. When the Sixers do eventually trade Ben Simmons, whatever they get in return for him will only make this team better, which is a very good sign for them moving forward. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from a normal guy, and he says that Cole Anthony is the player with the most offensive potential on the Orlando Magic right now. This is a surprising revelation because Anthony had quite an inconsistent rookie season last year, which isn't by any means abnormal for a rookie guard, but this summer in Summer League, he had a pretty rough showing which led many to worry a bit about his future. The Magic just drafted another guard to add to their crowded backcourt, so if those struggles continued, Anthony very well could have been the odd man out in that rotation, but instead, he's having a tremendous little breakout to start the year, averaging about 19 points per game while shooting over 40% from 3. He's leading the team in scoring right now, he looks much more confident with the ball this year, and with that confidence, his ability to playmake and create offense is only going to continue to improve on a Magic team very willing to give him the green light as they rebuild. Before the season, this take would have seemed pretty bold, but now I honestly have no problems with people saying this. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.